It's still May 4th, 2023. If you're still watching my videos and you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Talk a little bit right now about the bank collapses. We're hearing about this bank's going to collapse, that bank's going to collapse, this bank has collapsed, right? What makes sense out of that, right? It's almost like they're wanting all the smaller banks to collapse so there's only a handful of large banks that are still able to be up and running, right? Why would they want that? What do we keep hearing from every channel on here? Digital dollar, right? It would be so much easier to implement the digital dollar if all the smaller banks are gone and all you have is the bigger banks. I mean, that's what's making sense to me on that. Do I think every bank is going to collapse, this year? Probably not. They could collapse. But what you got to understand what's going on is when they collapse, a bigger bank buys them out, right? Well, eventually you're going to have just big banks that's left, a couple big banks. And it's so much easier to control the money that way and slide in that digital dollar, right? I've told you, people are scared to death of the digital dollar. Do I want it? No. But you've got to stop and think. The majority of people now are already digital, right? I say this a lot. You won't believe how many people that do not have physical cash on them no more. Everything's paid with their phone or a card or something like that, right? Or an app. That's how they're paid. It's just the way it is right now. I wish we'd go back to checks. Here's your paycheck, go to the bank and cash it, but it's not like it. I told you also, my own insurance company, which is Progressive, you go pay your insurance bill down there, they're going to charge you, if you pay cash, they're going to charge you up to $5 or up for using cash because they have to physically handle it and move it around, right? It's ridiculous. And a lot of places now are getting to where they don't want cash. They prefer you just to pay. All the stores, your big box stores, they're trying to go online shopping only. Walmart, everybody's like, why are they putting all these self-checkouts and stuff in? And then they're complaining about theft, right? I believe Walmart is trying to get to like Amazon where you don't physically go in the store. You just order your stuff online. It comes to your house. They deliver it, or you go down there and pick it up. You don't physically go in the store. When credit cards and stuff come out and bank cards, they come out just like a gun law comes out on public safety, right? And you're like, what do you mean? They always pass a gun law and get people to agree to it and be like behind it because it's for public safety, right? Which we all know that's not why it's there. Bank cards and things like that come out to help robbery. You get robbed, you got a credit card, you don't have no cash on you, or you got your bank card, right? It made it easier to pay your bills. You go online and pay your bills. It's for public safety, for the easiness of it and things like that. This isn't starting right now. Some people are confused thinking, hey, they're just trying to do this right. No, this has been going on for a while. It has. And people need to realize that. Are we at the tail end of what we know as a banking system right now? I firmly believe we are. I firmly believe they're going to bring the digital dollar in eventually. When, I don't know. But the easiest way to do it is only have a few banks. Easier to control the money. You're not having to deal with small branches of banks here and there in little towns and things like that. They can all be owned by a handful of bigger banks, right? We see it a lot in my area. We've had banks. I don't know if any of y'all remember a bank called AmSouth. We had it for years. They go out of business. Region takes it over. Well, then Region goes out of business in our area, and then another bank. I don't even know who owns it now. It's all planned. It's a planned event. It's not, oh, something's happening, this or that. It's not. It's a planned event to get to where they're wanting to go. And we're running out of time. I think the Democrats think they're going to win the next election, which honestly they probably will, because I've said it before, once DeSantis announces he's going to run, it's going to split the Republican Party vote. It's just depending on who the Democrats push into office, right? I know a lot of people think Trump's going to win no matter what, but you got to remember what happened a couple of years ago. You got to remember that. You have to. This is all part of a bigger plan that we're not privy to. We get little bits and pieces of it. We catch on to what's going on, but that's it. The main goal is to crash the economy, reboot it, digital dollar. You've heard the saying, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Some people are confused what a digital dollar means. It's basically like a credit system, right? You don't physically have cash. You don't physically have nothing on hand, right? People tell you to stack gold and silver. I agree with that. But I also, you sit there and you think, okay, if we go digital dollar and that's the currency they accept, how are you going to spend that, right? It's all confusing, and I know it confuses people. Just right now, if you're investing in the stock market, be careful. Another thing on the stock markets, we hear all the time, stock market's crashing, right? The stock market's just going to crash. It shows how short our memories are. At the start of 2020, stock market was doing decent, and then 2-3 months into it, it fell down to 17 to 18,000. You know, that was low, real low, right? But what happened? They started closing. You know, it has 3 built-in stops in the stock market. Once it hits a certain percentage, they'll stop, give it a couple minutes, start back. It hits the next stop, they'll give it a couple minutes, and when it hits that third stop, they just close. They close the stock market. It's built not to crash to zero no more, and people are going to be like, that's not true, it can't do it. What did Russia do when their stocks started crashing? They just closed the stock market until things calmed down and reopened it, right? You know, people think now if the stock market's falling 500 points in a day, it's some kind of huge crash. Be careful with that, because once again, these channels want views, 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 because they're cashing in on that. You know, they're cashing in on that fear. That's what they're doing. Same thing with the nuclear war stuff. They're cashing in on it. That's why you're seeing so much of it. But for right now, I think that they're trying to get it down to just a handful of banks so they can bring in the digital dollar. Let me know your thoughts on it. Do you think that's what they're doing? Something's not right with that either, right? Let me know your thoughts on this. If you're still watching, hit that subscribe button. Like or dislike this video. Comment on it, please. Keep your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings. Protect yourself and your family at all times. Guys, hold on for the bumpy ride. And if you're still watching, hit that subscribe.